In the year 1856, on a dusty plain in what is now Pakistan, a British railroad worker swings his pickaxe into the ground. He is laying track for a line that will one day connect Karachi to Lahore. The empire is hungry. The empire needs steel and stone and ballast, millions of bricks to keep the rails from sinking. His pickaxe strikes something hard. He kneels down, brushes the dirt away, and pulls out a single perfectly fired brick. It is too perfect, too uniform, too old. What he is holding is not a brick from some forgotten Mughal village or a fallen British outpost. What he is holding is a brick that was fired 5,000 years ago. A brick from a city older than Egypt. A brick from a civilization the world had completely forgotten existed. And over the next several months, he and his crew will pull tens of thousands more out of the ground. And they will use them without a second thought to lay 150 kilometers of railway track on top of the bones of a lost super civilization. This is the story of the people who made that brick. They had running water before Europeans had wheels. They had standardized weights before the Greeks had philosophy. They built the world's first planned megacities, and then, one day, they vanished. Their writing has never been deciphered. Their language is unknown. Their kings have no names. And yet, you carry pieces of their civilization in your home, in your language, in your blood, right now. This is episode 1 of the longest, strangest, most magnificent civilizational story on earth. This is the story of India. Section 1. What the world forgot. For most of modern history, the world told one story about ancient civilization. It started in Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates. It moved to Egypt along the Nile. It blossomed in Greece, conquered with Rome, and then eventually marched east to discover India. That is the story Europe wrote. That is the story school textbooks repeated for 200 years. And it is wrong. Because while Egypt was still raising its first dynasty, while Mesopotamia was still drawing its first city walls, a third civilization, far bigger than either of them, was already running on the banks of a river system in northwest India. It covered an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined, more than 1 million square kilometers. From Afghanistan in the west to the Yamuna River in the east, from the Himalayas in the north, all the way down to the Arabian Sea. We call it the Indus Valley Civilization, or more accurately, the Harappan civilization, named after the very first of its cities to be excavated. But the people who lived there had no idea they would one day be called that. They had their own names for themselves. We just don't know what those names were. Because their script, the one they carved into thousands of seals and tablets and pots, has never been read. Not by us, not by anyone. It is one of the great unsolved puzzles of human history. But what we do know about them, what archaeology has carefully pried from the dirt over the last 100 years, is so extraordinary that it forces a complete rewrite of what ancient even means. So let's go back, all the way back, 5,000 years. The story really begins around 7000 BC in a place called Mehergarh in modern-day Balochistan. Farmers there are domesticating wheat, barley, and cattle. They are firing pottery. They are building mud brick homes. Over the next 4,000 years, these people slowly, patiently build up the foundations of urban life. They master irrigation. They learn to bake bricks at uniform temperatures. They develop trade networks that stretch into Central Asia. And then, somewhere around 2600 BCE, something incredible happens. Cities explode out of the ground. Not villages, not towns. Cities, planned, gridded, engineered cities that would not look out of place in a 19th century map of London. The two most famous of these are Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, both in modern Pakistan today. But here is what the textbooks often leave out. And here is something every Indian listener needs to hear. The largest Indus city ever found is not in Pakistan. It is in India. It is called Rakhigarh. It sits in Hisar district in the state of Haryana, about 150 kilometers from Delhi. And in 2014, after decades of careful remapping by the Archaeological Survey of India, archaeologists confirmed that Rakhigarh covers a staggering 350 hectares, overtaking Mohenjo-daro by 50 hectares to become the largest known site of the entire Indus Valley civilization. For comparison, Mohenjo-daro at its peak housed around 40,000 people. The full civilization across hundreds of cities and towns may have supported between 1 and 5 million people. 5 million. 5 million in an era when most of humanity still lived in scattered tribal villages. And these were not crude settlements. They were obsessively, almost compulsively planned. Walk through Mohenjo-daro, even today, and you walk through a perfect grid. The main streets run dead north to south. The cross streets run dead east to west. The blocks are rectangular. The houses are aligned. There is a kind of citadel on the western side, a lower city to the east. Every neighborhood has a well. Every house has a bathing area. Every street has a covered drain running under it. Yes, you heard that right. A covered drain, a sewer system, in every single street 5,000 years ago. When the Roman emperors built the famous Cloaca Maxima in Rome, they were considered geniuses ahead of their time. The Cloaca Maxima was built around 600 BCE. The drains of Mohenjo-daro are 2,000 years old. Inside the homes, archaeologists have found something even more astonishing, what appear to be the world's first flush toilets. Brick-lined chutes that fed waste directly into the city's drainage network. Not in palaces, not in temples, in ordinary middle-class homes. In the West, this level of indoor plumbing would not be common again until somewhere around the 1850s of our current era. 3,500 years after the Indus people were already doing it. You begin to understand now why archaeologists call these the most underrated civilization in human history. So how did all of this stay hidden for so long? The answer is, in a strange way, the same brick that started this episode. Travelers had been noticing the ruins of Harappa for decades. In 1842, a British adventurer named Charles Masson wrote about a strange brick mound in the Punjab that he believed was the ruin of an ancient city. Local villagers told him the same thing. They had been pulling bricks out of that mound for generations. They used them to build their homes. But no one in the colonial establishment took it seriously. The British were obsessed with the idea that civilization in India had begun with the Aryans, or the Greeks, or the Mughals, anyone, really, except the Indians themselves. So when those railway workers in 1856 began ripping bricks out of the ground to lay the Karachi-Lahore line, no one stopped them. The Brunton brothers, John and William, were the engineers in charge. They reported that they had found an excellent source of building material in the form of an ancient mound, and they used those bricks to lay 150 kilometers of railway ballast. 150 kilometers of an unknown civilization, crushed and buried under iron tracks, erased so a colonial railway could run more efficiently. It would take another 60 years before anyone realized what had been destroyed. In 1921 and 1922, Sir John Marshall, the Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India, finally launched a serious dig at Harappa and then at Mohenjo-daro. And what came out of the ground stunned the world. This was not a footnote. This was not a regional curiosity. This was a third great river valley civilization, older than anything in Greek or Roman memory, comparable in age and scale to Egypt and Mesopotamia, sitting right under the feet of British India. And the British had been using its bones for railway ballast. If you want a single image to summarize the colonial experience of India, you could do worse than that. But the story of who these people actually were is even stranger than the story of how they were lost.